Gaskins. I am the CEO and founder of DocuSor, and I'm here to tell you why your outdated docs are extremely costly for your organization and you as a solo practitioner. Wow, 15 seconds is a lot longer than I thought it would be. So this is my slide. So picture this. It's your first day on the team. You're excited. You got your new hire. They want to contribute. They pick up a ticket in the sprint. They start working on it. They're looking through the documentation. They're trying to understand the system architecture. Wow, there's a README. There's run books. You actually, you're not the norm. You actually have some stuff that they can use so that they can try to work on the asset application. So they go through the said documentation. They're trying to understand how to implement their card. And simple, let's just get a hello world started. They go through step 1, that works. Step 2 is good. Step 3, still working. But then all of a sudden they're waiting for everything to compile. They're going through, and then boom, right? They followed everything that you told them to do, and yet it still didn't work. Well, you look, that README that you were so happy to see was made the same time when they first made the repository. The application has been obviously continued to be built. I've been an engineer at JP Morgan for the last 5 years, and I've consistently run into this problem. I hate not understanding how things are supposed to work, especially when you're the one that told me how they work, right? And I started asking other engineers. I've talked to some folks at the conference. Everybody has the same story of, I'm just following what I'm supposed to do, especially with AI. AI is generating this stuff, but even agents have no real way to know if things are correct unless they're trying to validate as they are going through the problems that they're facing with said documentation. What does this lead to? That's hours lost. That's broken trust. Oftentimes, I've even seen agents not even look at a README for an application before they start working on it. And this got me thinking, like we have all these types of tests: functional testing, acceptance testing, component testing, performance testing, all these types of testing, yet we do not test our documentation. Literally why? I've been told you just get good, right? That's a common thing, So we're in somewhat of a gatekeeping industry, in some ways not. And when talking to senior engineers, it was like, oh, well, I figured it out. Or you get that like, oh, it works for me. Why doesn't it work for you? Well, why doesn't it work for me? I'm following exactly what you said, and yet it's not working. And that's because documentation drift is a universal problem in our industry. Code will continue to change, and your docs stay the same. You are inherently leaving your systems vulnerable to agents trying to work within them. But what if your docs could fail, right? What if the same way that your code fails, if your documentation is not up to date with your application, it also could fail? What would that provide us? Everything going in production now has valid documentation for anyone, even if they're not an engineer, to be able to handle, at least understand how your application works. And that's what led me to this. Everything that you have in your documentation in those run books is an assertion. Go to port, you start the application up, go to port 8080, you should get a 200. To everyone else, that can just looks like, something, but those are assertions that can run, and that is what DocuSor does. Now you can use there's other tools as well. The main point is that you should be testing your docs. Now you can use DocuSor, I think it's pretty great, but the main thing is that you are leaving yourself vulnerable to cognitive debt, right? You can continue to have your application run by itself, and your agents can figure it out, but you are burning through tokens that do not have to be burned if you provide your agent the context before they even use a single token. I think this is my last slide. Oh, it's not. Wow, I have 4 slides left. That is so great. And I started thinking, like, deterministic context is hallucination-free context for the agents to use. We can continue to think about fixing the things that are generated from our agents, or we can make sure that the things going in are correct in the first place, which is what DocuSor is. We validate that README in your pipeline, specifically in your CI/CD pipelines, so that against your actual application, when we run those assertions, we know that your documentation is correct. You know your documentation is correct, because if anyone uses it, it works for everyone. Because I am one of those people that hates doing exactly what you tell me to do, and it does not work. And so will your agents. That is the last slide. Thank you.